In this video, I'm going to explain how to receive your coronavirus stimulus check fast. If you're new here, my name is Navi Miraj. I'm a certified public accountant, and typically I shoot videos that are geared towards the small business owner and the real estate professionals to help you save money in taxes. But today's video is a little different. I'm actually going to be reading a little bit off this script, if you will, explaining just how to get your coronavirus stimulus package the fastest way possible. In particular, with this video, I'm going to be talking about those checks going out to taxpayers between $1,200 and $2,400. So I'm kind of doing this video off the cuff in a Q&A format. So let's get into the content. So, first off is how much can I expect to receive? So for individual taxpayers, you can expect to receive $1,200, or I should say up to $1,200. And for those of you that have filed married filing jointly on your return, you could expect to receive $2,400. Now, additionally, you can receive $500 for each qualifying child that is under the age of 16, so 0 to 16 years old. A lot of questions I've been getting is, well, how does the IRS know if I had a child recently? So, if you filed your return in 2018 and, you on there had a dependent as your child, then they will know, right? Now, if you had your child in the year of 2019, in the tax year of 2019, and you haven't filed your 2019 tax year tax return yet, then you may want to accelerate filing that 2019 tax return so the IRS knows you have a child and they can see that you do based on how you filled out your 2019 tax return, and you would get that additional $500 for each qualifying child. Now, who qualifies? Who qualifies is largely based around your what's called adjusted gross income. So tax filers that are individuals who have adjusted gross income, and I'll tell you where to find that number here in a second, of $75,000 or less, should receive the full $1,200. If you're married filing jointly and your adjusted gross income is $150,000 or less, you should receive your full $2,400. If you're single, or if you file individually and your adjusted gross income is above the $75,000, then there's what us tax folks called a phase out, right? So if you're an individual making more than $75,000 in AGI, then your stimulus payment will be reduced by $5 for each $100 you go over. I know that sounded confusing. So let's say you make $75,100, or that's what your AGI is. Then instead of receiving $1,200, you will receive $1,195. And I'll put that math in the description below. So basically, you are excluded from receiving these benefits if your income as a single filer is exceeding $99,000, or if your income as a joint filer is exceeding $198,000. Now, you may still qualify for the $500 for your child. If you're over those income limits, you just wouldn't receive the $1,200 or the $2,400. So who else qualifies? For people who have already filed their 2019 tax return, the IRS will use this information to calculate the payment amount. But for those of you who do not file your 2019 return, the IRS will use the information from your 2018 tax filing to calculate the payment. Now, you could get in trouble here because let's say you qualified based on what your AGI was in 2018, but you would not qualify based on what your AGI was in 2019, I'm sure the IRS is going to claw that money back from you when the time comes. So, between 2018 and 2019, there were some changes to the individual tax return. So I have them here on my desk. So in 2019, you would find your adjusted gross income on line 8B on your return. And for your 2018, you would find your adjusted gross income on page 2 on line 7. So if you filed your 2019 return, you know where to look. If you filed your 2018 return, you know where to look. So when can you expect this stimulus? Most taxpayers will receive the payment automatically within the next 3 weeks. So I'm shooting this video on April 1st, and the IRS just made some changes, I believe yesterday, and so you could expect to receive the stimulus in mid-April. But how are you going to receive the payment? So the IRS is going to do their best to send the payments to you via direct deposit, and they'll be using the information based on what you input on when you filed your either 28 return or your 29 return if you've 2018 return rather, or your 2019 return if you've gone ahead and filed your 2019 return. So what if the IRS doesn't have your most up-to-date direct deposit information? There's a lot of people out there saying, well, give the IRS a call. Well, I've got news for you. Your wait time on that call is going to be an hour, 2 hours plus. What the IRS just released is that in the next coming weeks, the Treasury is planning to develop a web-based portal so individuals can go in and update their banking information. So if you change banks between 2018 and now, or even 2019 and now, or your address has changed, you'll be able to update all that information in a portal that they are developing as I literally speak the words to this video. So what happens if you're not typically required to file a tax return? Can you still receive a payment? Yes, those folks that don't normally file a tax return, such as low-income taxpayers or some senior citizens or some Social Security recipients, if you don't normally file a return, unfortunately, the way the system they pass the bill is you are going to have to file a return to receive your benefits. Don't worry about that too much, because the IRS is actually going to be providing on their site a what's called a simple return. So they're going to collect the pertinent information that's required to determine how much of a refund you're going to get, as well as your direct deposit information, and you will also get your return hopefully electronically. More details will be on the irs.gov/coronavirus website, and I'll add that description below. So what if you have not filed your tax return for 2018 or 2019, but you should have? So this is not your low income folks, but people who should have filed a return, but they just failed to do so. Well, the IRS is urging you to please go ahead and file your return, and let's say you file your 2018 or 2019 return. They will then use the direct deposit banking information you use to file those returns to get you your stimulus check. So what happens if you need to file a return? How long are the payments going to be available? So this is not for the folks that filed the return in 2018 or filed it as normal in 2019. These are for the folks that for whatever reason didn't file a 2018 return or 2019 return. You have time to apply, but the IRS encourages you to apply or file your return as soon as possible. But if you take your time and you don't do it as fast as possible, then you'll still receive these payments throughout 2020. A lot of this information is brand new. I've seen some videos out there that is actually already has, I wouldn't say incorrect information, but outdated information. This is the most current information that the IRS released to the public on March 30th of 2020. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. I'm happy to try to answer it. The link to the IRS website I mentioned is going to be in the comment below. And for more information and for future videos, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks and be safe.